Hey guys, it's Jonah down here at Planet Power Sports, and I wanted to show you guys one of the really cool side-by-sides that we have in stock right now. And this thing deserves a little bit more than a minute and a half video because it's got so much stuff packed into it. It's one of the really most powerful and advanced machines that there is out there right now. So this is the 2023 RZR Pro R with the dynamic suspension. It offers you a ton of really awesome features that are going to take you anywhere. Starting with the engine, you don't have that typical two-cylinder, four-stroke engine. This thing has a four-cylinder engine in it that cranks out about 225 horsepower. So it has power to take you anywhere you want to go. And then it has the settings and the modes to keep you comfortable on any terrain. So kind of starting with the suspension and the drivetrain on it. This thing has 32-inch tires on it, so really nice, aggressive tires on it. And then with the suspension, you've got the Fox 3.0 live valve system on it to work in correlation with the dynamic suspension. And basically you've got about 22 inches of travel, 22 and a half inches of travel in the front, and then right around 24 inches of travel with 16 inches of ground clearance. So got tons of travel for any type of terrain. If you're rock climbing, if you're going over hills or whoops, you're not going to have any trouble clearing most places. It's going to be really hard to get this thing stuck, basically, is what it comes down to. Fuel capacity, it holds about 12 gallons of fuel. And then with that 225 horse and four-cylinder engine, it comes out to about just under 2,000 cc's of power. So it's a really incredible machine. We're going to dive into a little bit more. I'll show you the dynamic system, the ride command system, how you control all that. And then I think you're going to fall in love with this machine just like I did. So we'll walk around the whole exterior of this machine, just starting with the back kind of bed here. You have this rear cargo area where you can stick any kind of cargo, coolers, packing for your overnight trips and everything. You've got a fair amount of space back here compared to your normal RZRs, the XP1000s and stuff like that. And then you've got 300-pound capacity in here, so it'll hold pretty much everything you need to go on those overnight trips, get out lost in the woods. So that's one of the nice features, is a nice big cargo capacity in the back. Then in the rear here, to go along with that Fox 3.0 suspension, they kind of beefed up their whole system here. So your cross arms are going to be a little bit beefier than the regular RZRs. Your trailing arms are just massive, and they're really tough and rugged for crawling over rocks, putting a lot of abuse on the machine. It's going to take a lot of beating to break one of these things. And then you've also got rear brakes in here. It's going to be a dual piston calipers on both sides. So plenty of braking power. This is your exhaust right here, just one exhaust coming out the rear. And I'll tell you, this thing sounds really mean with that four-cylinder engine. It is a great sounding machine. Not many out there that sound that good. And coming around here to the side in the front of the machine, you can see they put full doors on this thing, and that's to protect the passenger. This thing has a 74-inch wheelbase, so your wheels are sticking out from your machine, and what happens is you end up kicking rocks into the cab if you don't have the full door, and they'll pelt the passenger or the driver, and it just doesn't make it very enjoyable. So they put the full doors on this thing to protect them, so nothing's flying up at you. You do still have a little bit of a brake here so that you get airflow coming into the cab, so you're not getting hot, and get a nice breeze. And then up front here, you've got the same Fox live valves up here, of course, and then they beefed everything up here as well. So you've got these really beefy upper and lower control arms, beefy steering knuckles. You've got dual piston calipers up here as well. So really beefed up the machine to go with all the power that it's putting out. They wanted to make sure this thing was going to last. And then you've got, of course, your LED headlights with your running lights, which I'll go ahead and flip on. So these are your normal running lights. You can see you've got the V shape right here, and then with your headlights, you've got LED headlights on both sides too that are going to light it up so you can see just fine anywhere you go at night. And then you've got, of course, the running light in the middle here too. So this thing's got a really mean looking stance. It looks great when you're riding down the trails, really visible. And then, of course, with those lights, you can add all sorts of accessories. Everybody knows that Polaris is awesome with their accessories. They run harnesses throughout their whole machine. So if you wanted to add rock lights, they're going to have harnesses that are tucked up in here for you to add rock lights already. Same with light bars. They're going to have harnesses run up through the cage so you can add light bars easily on the front and the rear. And then, of course, you can get all your other standard features like windshields, front and rear. You can make this thing really, you can really go crazy with it. The possibilities are endless as far as accessorizing these machines. All right, so sitting inside the cab now, I'll try not to block everything as I'm showing you with my hands, but they try to make this as rider friendly as possible. So they put the controls for everything right inside the cab. So if you want to adjust your suspension, you don't have to get out and adjust each individual cylinder. You can do it all from right inside the cab. So starting off with the steering wheel, obviously it's going to be adjustable, but one of the cool things about this one is the dash cluster up here, which shows your RPMs and your miles per hour, fuel, what gear you're in. It's all right here, and that's going to adjust with your steering wheel. So if you're a taller guy and you want to put it up a little bit, you're still going to be able to see your dash cluster really well. And if you're a shorter person, you can put it down and still see that cluster really well. And then we'll lock this back into place here. On the left side, you've got your headlight controls, so low and high, and then your four-wheel drive is going to be regular drive mode with the rear diff locked, four-wheel drive, and then four-wheel drive with the front diff locked as well. So that'll give you really the best grip on whatever terrain you're on. If you want to take off and have really awesome grip, lock everything, you're not going to be slipping at all. And then right here is your switch for your different drive modes. This basically tunes your ECU. You've got sport mode, which is going to be for your regular cruising. You've got rock mode, so that's for your crawling. It's going to provide a little bit more torque, less top end speed, and then your race mode, which is going to give you pretty much full power. So just taking off, going top speed, put it in race mode, and you can go. This is pretty standard shifter. You've got park, reverse, neutral, low, and high. Pretty self-explanatory there. If you're crawling, you're going to want to put it in low. High is if you're just cruising or just we're ripping through trails going super fast. So next we're going to dive into the ride command system, which is where you get a lot of the controls for your suspension, your audio, and everything like that. So I'll readjust the camera to see that a little bit better, and we'll take a look at that. All right, and so again, they made this as rider friendly as possible. So this whole thing is very customizable. You can see you've got some different options here to see your roll and your pitch. And then here, if you go to settings, you can adjust this even more. So you've got your general info about the machine. It's a 2023 RZR Dynamics Edition Pro R. It's got 4 miles, 495 miles until the next service. And then go to general here. General. So you've got your ride command account, which you can log in there, Bluetooth devices, passcode security. So you can set a passcode for the machine. It's just extra security. Obviously, you've got your key that you can take out and take with you. And then you can also add a passcode. So if you want that added security before this thing started up, you can add a passcode. Language, speed units, temperature units, system information, update software, and then updating the maps and trails. So if you wanted to add more maps and trails or update them, you just click on that, and then you can go ahead and download it from a USB drive or from your Ride Command app. This is your time settings, pretty self-explanatory there. Audio settings, you're able to fade to the rear or the front, and then left and right. Equalizer, so you can control your bass, all that good volume stuff. Automatic volume control. So what this will do is as you accelerate, the engine's going to get a little bit louder. You can set this to high. And then when you accelerate, it's going to turn the volume of the radio up so you can hear it better when the engine's loud. And when you slow back down, it's going to turn it back down so you can still have conversations and hear the radio. So that's one of the really nice, kind of not really necessary features, but it's nice to have. They thought of everything in this. So this is your general vehicle information. So you can see your oil life. You've got 495 miles remaining to your next oil change, or 23 hours remaining. And you can change your service interval here based off what you personally want. Again, the engine start lockout, group ride. So if you've got other friends that are riding with Ride Command, you can put them on the group ride. Then when you go to navigation, if you're up in the trails, it's going to show you their exact location, so nobody's getting lost. So go back to the settings here. So your steering wheel shortcut button, that is this button. It's just the same thing on your shortcut or on your steering wheel, and you can change what that does. So short press and long press, you've got a bunch of different options as to what you can set it to. Again, it's just one of the more customizable features of this. And then cameras, front and rear, you can set them to on and off. So again, you've got a ton of features in this Pro R. They made it really rider friendly. They thought of everything, and it's one of the most powerful and one of the most impressive machines technologically speaking. So we're going to jump around. I'll show you the seats and the harnesses and some other features, and then we'll wrap this up for you. All right, here's your cockpit. So you can see you've got the full 6-point harnesses in here, and then this also has the safety cords. So if you're not buckled in, it's only going to go a certain speed. And then you've got your contoured seats, so it's going to hold you in tight while you're riding if you're going through sharp turns and stuff. Keeps you really safe through there. If you pull this lever, this whole seat just pops right out. And what that gives you is access to your batteries. In this machine, since it has such a powerful technology system, you've got a 2-battery system in here. So plenty of power for running all those screens, running the suspension systems, and then powering the actual unit, your engine and all that. So again, they're thinking of everything. They've got plenty of power in this thing. You've got 12-volt sockets, USBs. You've got more sockets in here, another 12-volt socket. So there's a pretty detailed walk around on the Polaris RZR Pro R for you. As you can see, this thing's got some pretty advanced features on it. It's got plenty of power to match everything that they put into it. It weighs about 2,100 pounds, and it has a top speed of about 90 miles an hour, or maybe even more. I can't say I've ever tried it. So if you want to check out this machine, I'd urge you to come in, sit in it, see if it's the right machine for you. If you're doing a bunch of different types of riding, going down to Tennessee, doing some rock climbing, then riding trails, or just doing comfort riding, it's got all the modes for what you're going to want to do. So come see it today at Planet Power Sports, and I hope to see you here. Ask for Jonah. Thanks.